In my senior year of high school, all I wanted was to enjoy every moment before adulthood took over. Like any teenager, I had my dreams and crushes, and one of them was Tiffany. She was beautiful, magnetic, the kind of person who made everyone stop and stare when she entered a room. When my best friend CJ convinced her and her friend Gianna to join us for a night at the beach, I knew this was my perfect chance to get closer to her. CJ picked me up at 10 p.m., and the plan was simple: laugh, have fun, and give me the opportunity to be alone with Tiffany. Everything was going smoothly. We joked, talked, and finally arrived at a deserted beach, the ideal setting for what promised to be an unforgettable night. After a while, CJ and Gianna wandered off, leaving Tiffany and me alone. We walked to the water, dipped our feet in, and then lay on the sand, chatting. It was perfect until Tiffany interrupted the conversation, staring intently at the ocean. "Do you see that?" At first, I laughed, thinking she was joking. But when I stood up and looked where she was pointing, my heart began to race. There was something in the water, a long, vertical figure, completely still. Curious, I stepped closer, but as I did, it moved. My body reacted before my mind, and I ran back to Tiffany. "It's a person," I whispered, but deep down, I knew it wasn't just that. Feeling uneasy, Tiffany suggested we move further down the beach. We walked for a while and settled in a spot that felt more private, but soon she asked again, "Did you hear that?" It was a faint splashing sound, but it stopped as quickly as it started. We looked out at the water, and there it was again, that figure still watching us. Tiffany grabbed my arm and whispered, "Let's go." When we got back to the car, CJ and Gianna hadn't returned yet. My phone, which had been out of signal range, suddenly started buzzing with messages from CJ. The messages were frantic. "There's someone weird in the water watching us." And later, "It's not a person, it's something." Moments later, CJ and Gianna appeared, breathless and terrified. CJ explained that they had been followed by something that didn't seem human. When he described what he saw, a deformed figure walking like a human, but not quite human, chills ran down my spine. And then we heard it, a scream that wasn't human. The sound made us bolt to the car. On the drive back, no one spoke. Each of us was lost in our thoughts, trying to process what had just happened. To this day, I still wonder what that figure in the water was. Was it just a prank, or something far more sinister? Living in Florida meant the beach was practically an extension of our backyard. My favorite evenings were spent with my sisters, watching the sunset and enjoying the calm after most people had left. That night, everything seemed normal until it wasn't. My youngest sister, Ksenia, was only 13 and full of energy. She wanted to go into the water, and as the responsible older brother, I told her to be back in 10 minutes. Meanwhile, my other sister and I started playing volleyball on the sand. Time passed quickly, and when I glanced at the water, Ksenia was nowhere to be seen. Panic set in as I ran to the shore, calling her name. Then I noticed a luxurious boat anchored not far away. It was illuminated, standing out against the darkening sky. Something about it felt off. Without hesitation, I dove into the water and swam to the boat. Climbing the small ladder, I was greeted by an unexpected sound: laughter. It was coming from inside the cabin. I shouted Ksenia's name, and then I heard her voice. Rushing in, I found her sitting on a bed, holding a soda. She seemed calm, but what made my stomach drop were the two men sitting across from each other, staring at me as if I were the intruder. One of them smiled and said, "You have a very lovely sister." My blood ran cold. The other man quickly tried to explain, saying they had seen her alone in the water and just wanted to help. I didn't believe a word they said. I grabbed Ksenia and left as quickly as I could. Back on shore, I brought my sisters home and told my dad everything. He was furious that I hadn't gotten any details about the boat or the men. He was right, of course, but at the time, all that mattered was that my sister was safe. I never saw that boat again, but I still wonder, what were those men really planning? Owning a beach house feels like a dream, doesn't it? The sound of the waves, the salty breeze, the starry sky at night. It's paradise. My girlfriend and I had just arrived after a long drive, ready to relax. We decided to skip unpacking and head straight to the beach, leaving our bags in the living room. As we lounged on the sand, my girlfriend suddenly asked, "Did you leave that light on?" I turned to the house and saw an upstairs light glowing. But what really chilled me was the silhouette at the window. Someone was in the house. I ran back, heart pounding. Entering quietly, I crept up the stairs, trying to make no noise. Halfway up, I heard a door close. When I reached the room where the light had been on, it was now dark. I searched every corner, but the room was empty. Then I heard a sound from beneath the bed. Slowly, I knelt down, my heart racing as I peered under. What I saw will stay with me forever. A man lying there, staring back at me. For a moment, we locked eyes before he scrambled out and bolted for the front door. I chased after him, but barefoot, I couldn't catch him. We spent the rest of the night searching the house for signs of a break-in or theft, but nothing was missing. To this day, we don't know how he got in or what he wanted. That night changed the way I feel about my beach house forever.